Thank you again for the presentation. Now I'm going to talk about the association between body mass index, obesity, and sperma quality, and also sperma DNA integrity. This is also a large population. And we did this in this clinic that I have talked before, in our clinic. And also this is from male factor research project, as I said before, and my friend said as well. And in this, we study both conventional sperm parameters and cytochemical sperm parameters. For conventional, we use WHO, a standard evaluation, except for morphology that you use MISOM in our clinic. And for cytochemical sperm parameter, I will detail later. So just to tell you again about the obesity, there is interaction between obesity and fertility has received a special attention with the increase of obesity in the world, more obesity in the world, more attention for this. In human, we know very well that the effects of extreme body composition on reproductive function are really evident by altering menstrual functions, and it's well known and extensively studied. But in men, the negative effects of the obesity on reproductive functions are less evident. And now a variety of reports have now been published describe the relationship between obesity and sin sample. You saw in the beginning of this meeting, there was a discussion about obesity in human, but it was. So, however, there are contradictory studies about obesity in men. And here's just to say that the obesity can affect the sperm production. And the way it can affect is hormone alterations. We have decrease in BMIX, reduction of sex hormone, sample hypogonadotrophic, and hypoandrogenia. And this also together, they reduce the testicular function, and then it affects the sperm production. Not only this, but our toxic substance and endocrine disruption, lifestyle, fat deposition, and increase of local height in the testicle, genetic factors, and some sexual dysfunctions also reduce the testicular function and change the sperm production. But what we know in literature, that in relation paternal obesity, if affects male fertility and outcomes of assisted reproduction, this is the newest meta-analysis that I saw in literature. It was published in 2015, and they analyzed 30 studies in a very large population, 1,015 men. And this was both population, general population, adult population. And what they saw obese men show a reduced live birth cycles and presented 10% of the risk, absolute risk of increased pregnancy, no viability, more abortion. And there is also what they show in respect of the sperm, an increase in the percentage of the sperm with abnormal morphology, DNA fragmentation, and low mitochondrial membrane potential. But when we analyze these meta-analysis, I put only the art population in this slide, and what we can see, they show that normal morphology can change with obesity, DNA fragmentation, and mitochondria. But if you can see here, there are not many papers, only 3 in respect of DNA fragmentation in this meta-analysis, only 2 in mitochondria and morphology, also not too many papers. Leaving a contradictory results till now, to data. So the objective of our study was to see if there is a correlation between body mass index with conventional sperm parameters and also with conventional, with cytochemical sperm parameters. Again, here in this we evaluate 182 24 patients, same samples. Patients who had no, who were azoosperm were not included. We have analyzed the parameters, conventional parameters by who? Except morphology. In our clinical use MISOM, and where we evaluate the morphology at a high magnification using this equipment. And we analyze two kinds of spermatozoa. One normal, at those that present this image, and they don't have, they have an absence of vacuoles, or very small vacuoles that occupy less than 4% of the nuclear area. And we analyze the extremes, the normal one without vacuoles, and the large one with very large vacuoles, like this image. And they have more than one vacuole that can occupy more than 50%. This is the way we analyze, a little bit different from the Bartov methodology, described for first time in 2002. And here what we did is, I repeat because I don't know if everybody was here before, but what we did, we use immotile sperm for analyze DNA fragmentation, chromatin packed in apoptosis, and motile sperm for analysis of mitochondrial damage. We also did 200 spermatozoa evaluated for each test. And we use tunnel for analyze DNA fragmentation. Again, here the picture of the DNA fragmented, and here's the no fragmented DNA. And for chromatin packing, we use Chromomycin A test, A3 test. This is measure if there is abnormal or no chromatin packed inside the nucleus of the spermatozoa. And when the chromatin and when the stem can get in, it means that the chromatin is not well compacted. And then you see like this image, a bright. And for mitochondrial damage, we use motile spermatozoa, as I said, and we saw if there is activity in the mitochondrial mid-base. And for apoptosis, we also analyze it by annexin. So here, the results we got. This is the population characteristics, and the total, and compares with bone mass index. And we didn't see any correlation between obesity and age, abstinent days, years of infertility, use tobacco and alcohol use, varicocele, and supplement, vitamin supplement. And here just again to show you how was the distribution of this data. The age was 38.6 years old. Abstinence was, the median was 3 days and a half. Tobacco only 11%, alcohol 68% of the patients. We asked if they drink or not. We didn't quantify how much was it, because we didn't want any bias. And varicocele 70% and supplement vitamin 70%. And no difference between the groups according to their weight. In respect of the conventional sperm parameters, we saw most of the conventional sperm parameters, they presented a positive, a negative correlation. So what you see here, a negative correlation for concentration, for motility, total and progressive, for morphology, according to MISOM, as I talked before, and also vitality. We didn't see any correlation with leukocytes, and also with pH and volume of these sperm parameters. And here again, I divide in the 3 groups, just to have an idea, to give an idea how was these data. So the concentration of the normal weight was 83 millions per ml, and decrease with the obesity is increasing, more than 30 kilos per meter. And also motility, it decrease if you're getting fat, and morphology also decrease. and vitality also decrease. In respect of the biochemical sperm parameters, we saw only one correlation, and it was a positive correlation with mitochondrial damage. And in respect of apoptosis, DNA damage, and chromatin package, we didn't see any correlation. Again, I'm going to show you the data. You see here, if you get in fat, you get more mitochondrial damage, like here, you can see, and it didn't change for the other parameters. You can ask me if this change in the mitochondria can be correlated with the age, and when I saw the youngest, the medium one age, and the oldest one, also there is an increase with the increase of the weight. And also you can ask me about morbidity obesity, that means more than 40 kilos. And we didn't have too many patients, 35 patients, but I show here that there is also a negative correlation between normal weight and obesity for these parameters. It goes down, concentration, motility, morphology, in morbidity, obesity, and also mitochondrial damage going up. In conclusion, the body mass index increase is associated with decreased sperm concentration, motility, morphology, and vitality. And the increase of the obesity is associated with mitochondrial damage. However, we didn't see any difference with DNA fragmentation and sperm chromatin packing and sperm apoptosis. Thank you. And in conclusion, I give you the adverse consequence of obesity and benefits of weight reduction should be discussed when you counsel the patients. Eat less and burn more. Thank you all for your attention, my group for this paper.
Thank you for the presentation. To keep the timetable, I think there's one short question.
Hello, my name's Alistair McClure from London. I was just curious about the possible effect of malnutrition. They might be larger men, but they might also be eating poorer quality food. There's often a correlation between a poor diet and obesity. Was that examined in your study?
Sorry, can you repeat?
People who eat too much food tend to eat a large quantity of poor quality food. Their nutrition tends to be poorer.
I didn't measure how the food was.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you again for this nice work and presentation. One question about all the patient was infertile or in couples of there are exploration for infertility. Do you know about the parenthood of this man? There is a correlation between infertility status and the result?
No,
you don't understand?
Sorry.
I mean, your patient,
yes.
They are infertile, or some have children?
No, the patients that we have in this population, where they come for the first time for
infertility.
Yes, I don't have if they have
babies before
other women. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't have this, but most of them, for sure, they are infertile.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Okay, so now we go to our final speaker for the session.